Well, what about civilian forces? The risk and damage to the general public from cancers, for instance, caused by our own trusted biotech labs operating throughout the United States, is more severe, untold, and unimaginable. Numerous recorded outbreaks have foreshadowed what this government propaganda is really intended to relay: that you can expect a deadly outbreak sometime soon, whether you are prepared for it or not, and terrorists, not our biologists, will be blamed. And what does the government expect you to do? Number one, get vaccinated. They are spinning or pinning responsibility for prevention and security on you to take their profitable, risky, and other deadly vaccines. Instead of telling the truth and breaking ties with special interests, our politicians are turning blind eyes to serial slayings, mass murders, and have set nearly everyone up to be ill or killed. If you find this disturbing or hard to believe, so does everyone who first comes across documentation like this demented experimental creation. Here from the National Cancer Institute, how would you like to have airborne leukemia viruses circulating in your community? You have no assurance that it hasn't already happened, or that a release isn't planned. There's a lot of talk about avian flu. This is the cancer flu. The laws regulating the potential release of such agents don't really protect you anymore from experiments like this.
You telling me there's another outbreak?
Yeah.
Besides the one in Boston?
But I don't understand why you're reluctant. The CDC and USAMRIID are the only two agencies capable of dealing with a virus like this. That's why I want to get out of here tonight. They need all the help.
Sorry, Sam. Can't do that.
Billy, why in God's name would you keep me out of there?
It's a civilian matter, Sam.
That's bullshit.
CDC is on it. Let them do their job. Besides, we don't have a charter.
Oh, fuck the charter, Billy. It's not about a charter. People are dying. It's about you being a doctor. It's about that sacred oath that we took, remember? Billy, we've been friends for 20 years.
Yes, we're friends, Sam, but I'm also your boss. I run this outfit. It's not run by committee. You do what the hell I say do. I'm your boss. I have my boss. Is that clear to you?
Yeah, get your boss on the phone. Call up McClintock. Tell him to put me on a plane before the two of you kill a lot of people.
Colonel, I'm going to suggest that you shut up now before you say something else you're going to be sorry for. And don't forget who you're talking to.
Well, tell me who I'm talking to, because I don't know who I'm talking to anymore, Billy. Am I talking to USAMRIID, the Pentagon, the CIA, fucking McClintock, Dugway? Tell me who I'm talking to.
This conversation is over.
Can you tell me who I'm talking to?
You're on a plane to New Mexico this morning. I suggest you go home and get packed, or do whatever you have to do, Colonel, and I suggest you do it now.
And what are you to do about it? When it happens, simply follow official instructions from people likely behind these outbreaks? Here are the official recommendations you are told to heed from the Department of Homeland Security. In fact, they're happy to send you this propaganda for free. Mind you, the subtitle to their book is An In-Depth Guide to Citizen Preparedness. Yet most reasonable people who read these recommendations find them far from comprehensive or comforting. Getting vaccinated against a bioweapon not yet known to exist and not yet released is not prudent or even reasonable. Nor is it likely people will bear the time and expense to install, according to official recommendations, HEPA filters in their homes to keep infectious germs out. Rather than in-depth, most intelligent, well-informed people would conclude these recommendations are insane.
Before the discovery of the smallpox vaccine, smallpox was in fact used as a weapon. One of the best documented examples of this occurred during the French and Indian War. The British had been defeated in their attempt to conquer Fort Carillon on Lake Champlain, so Sir Geoffrey Amherst, commander of the British forces, met with Indians who were sympathetic to the French. Under the pretense of friendship, he deliberately offered them blankets previously used by smallpox victims. The Indians, who lacked immunity to smallpox, suffered a devastating outbreak of the disease. The English were then able to successfully attack the fort, which, by the way, was renamed Fort Ticonderoga. Military forces have also been devastated by endemic smallpox. During the siege of Quebec, George Washington's troops suffered massive losses from smallpox. He subsequently required all new recruits to be inoculated against the virus.
I'd like to comment for a few minutes on the Soviet program and their development of smallpox, variola major. They first worked with smallpox in immunized chicken eggs. And since a very small amount of material is produced in the egg, you can imagine the large numbers of eggs that were required to produce 100 metric tons of dried agent. Now, as their program advanced, and starting in the early 90s, they were using tissue culture as a means of generating the virus. But 100 metric tons loaded into an ICBM aimed at our major cities is cause for worry.
It's incredibly ironic that the great public health triumph of eradicating smallpox in the 1970s and the discontinuation of worldwide vaccination have opened the door for this virus to be once again used as a weapon.
Contrary to popular belief generated by similar propaganda, the smallpox vaccine did little, if anything, to reduce smallpox worldwide. A great expose on the sham of smallpox vaccinations was developed by members of Vaccination Liberation Organization, spearheaded by Ingrid Cassell-Harkins. It was called Smallpox Alert and is still available online at www.vaclib.org, along with many other informative articles. Given their conspiracy to corner the market, the smallpox vaccine was being touted by the same officials and private industry interests that promoted the anthrax vaccine. Think about it. With so many other biological weapons from which to choose, why would federal officials only decree the need to purchase these two risky and hurried vaccines? Because these inside traders held the opportunity to profit wildly
from these vaccines exclusively.
HHS Secretary Tommy Thompson at that time collaborated with the profiteers to make the smallpox vaccine required for every American, beginning with healthcare workers and emergency responders. As the Smallpox Alert explained, this vaccine dated back to the 1950s. It had been diluted 5 times. There was no scientific justification that it was or would be effective against any modern form of genetically engineered smallpox. Happily, most scientists, nurses, and medical doctors did not go along with this ruse. The consensus proclaimed that mass smallpox vaccination should not be encouraged. By the way, if you still don't question this as medical madness or murder, just remember, smallpox vaccines are made from cow pus. If you think getting injected with a 60-year-old formula containing cow pus as the active ingredient will protect you from smallpox, perhaps you should